Okay, let's do some live, and I'm going to invite some people, some fellow folk artists and crafters, and to invite some folks. Well, I want to show you some of my arts, plus read you some of the stories of the arts. Usually I make Azio miniature arts. The Azio size art is 3.5 by 2.5 inches. They are called Azio, which comes from ATC cards, which is artist trading cards. In the early 190s, in the early 20th century, some artists started drawing these measure arts in order to trade them with other artists, with other fellow artists, and they call them artist trading cards. Hi, how are you, Mary? I decided to make a live today and show some arts from my fantasy realm and share the stories of the arts. How have you been, Mary? I will find now from my website the link to the art. Maybe I should tell you first. Welcome to my live session, folks. I would appreciate if you give me some likes, and if you probably can share the live with your friends. I will share you the story of my fantasy realm called the realm of Exdorn, which is this fantasy planet that was an old planet from an ancient, from the ancient universe, our ancient galaxy. This was millions of years ago, when the galaxy was still being formed, and the beginning of forming of the life, many millions times ago. Somebody invited me. Muy bonitos. All right. So this is the fantasy lore for the realm of Exdorn, and I have the story of this realm on my website, and let me read you now. The realm of Exdorn is one of the worlds in an elemental universe where creation has started the greatest of the experiments with energy, matter and spirit. And thousands of ages ago, the Creator himself breathed his energy into the vastness of space, and then Exdorn, as well as other worlds, began to form in the presence of Creator's spirit. Spirit and energy slowly ejected matter, and the matter then started to form worlds for millions of years. The realm of Exdorn is a planet floating around a star that is 600 times bigger than our Sun, and planet Exdorn, the one here, itself is about 40 times bigger than Earth. But Exdorn is also the name of the whole star planetary system, which is consisting of 17 planets that float around this star called Exdorn. This is the star Exdorn. No new comments for now. Thank you for the likes. So originally in the Elder language, the ancient language, the star was written Exerod. Later they started to say to the star Exeroth. The most gigantic tree is living in the realm of Exdorn star system, and it is called the Enchanted Tree. This is the tree here. The Enchanted Tree, his name is Ardemerth, and it has been growing for more than 915,000 years. It was the oldest tree in the realm of Exdorn, and also it is the tallest and the biggest gigantic tree that is about 729 kilometers tall, which is 455 miles. Such enormously gigantic trees are called primal trees. Ardemert, this tree, Ardemert, is growing in the mountain Lägerich on the Linderen continent on the planet Exdorn. So here, me the artist that I have drawn this art, this is exaggeration of the tree itself. Of course, it's here it's exaggerated, it's not so big actually like compared to the planet. But you can see here, in reality, this is the realistic view of the Ardemert tree and the Linderen continent, together with the other gigantic trees on the planet. ATC cards, yeah, this is ATC card, which is 9 centimeter by 6 centimeter, which is 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So the Ardemert tree, as you can see here, was going out of the atmosphere of the planet Exdorn. And as I told you, this was the most gigantic trees at the time. These gigantic trees also, they were called primal trees. They were, primal trees, I can read about them from my website. I read on my laptop the stories and the lores for these arts. So about the primal trees, they are enormously gigantic magical trees that have protective powers over the realms. They are the oldest and the most gigantic living organisms in the realm of Exdorn. Their history goes back to prehistoric times, to the very primal beginning. The primal beginning was the ancient times when the creators himself started creating all the worlds and all life in the universe. These primal trees are worshipped by all races and all beings and creatures feel awe even talking by them. What about seeing one such giant or titan tree being? The primal trees are of extreme importance for the balance in the realms. Fact is that not every planet has primal trees on itself, but only some of them, and yet primal trees are responsible for keeping the balance in all of the realms of this ancient fantasy world. Now, let me read a little bit more. Planet Exdorn, this planet, is one of the most important hubs of thousands of great magicians, titans, and elemental beings from the light forces of the Magicals. Magicals are the magicians, they were calling the magicians Magicals on that ancient world. This was the old name for magicians from the Elder language. Most of the members of the light forces of the Magicals are magicians themselves, and some of them even have primal powers that are gigantic in their capabilities and proportions. In many ages, billions of ethereal worlds were born out of energized elementals, fire, rock, air, water, and photon light spirits. All these forces of the light were creating for millions of years. So, this is the original representation of the Ardemert gigantic tree, and here is exaggeration of the artist, which is myself. This tree here is exaggeration of showing the power and showing the importance of these gigantic trees for the balance of these ancient planets. Back then, as you can see, this fantasy world, which was our universe in the past, it was still forming the universal matter and planets, and it was chaotic in space, and yet these primal trees were responsible for keeping some kind of a balance, and all the